Assalamualaikum class. Today we are going to conduct the lecture number 4, and the topic we will cover in the lecture 4 are the stick diagram, MOS capacitor, a long channel IV characteristics, and the Shockley model. First we will move toward the stick diagram. As we know that the layout is a very time consuming, and it's very important to have the fast ways to plan a layout and estimate area before committing to a full layout. So the stick diagram are easy to draw because they don't need to be drawn with the scale, and we just use the color pencils and dry erase markers, and without any scale we draw the specific stick diagram of any given circuit. The basic or the very simple example for the stick diagram is the CMOS inverter, in which we have a PMOS and the NMOS connected in this configuration. The stick diagram of that particular inverter is given like this. In the layout design lecture, we have studied in detail how the contact is developed and what is the metal and how it is connected with the diffusions. Here we just give an overview. In this figure it is very clear that the contact will be mentioned in the form of the black block, and the metal are with the aligned lines, and the diffusions are represented in the form of the light colors, and the polysilicones are in the form of the gray aligned lines bar. So these are the basic configuration when we develop the stick diagram. The main and the very important parameter to find out the area of any structure, we need wiring tracks. So basically a wiring track is the space required for the wire. In this figure you can clearly see that the 4 lambda width and the 4 lambda spacing, 4 lambda width and the 4 lambda spacing from the neighbor, that becomes 8 lambda, and we can say 8 lambda is the pitch of that particular CMOS. Transistors also consume one wiring track. It's very important thing. The second important parameter for the calculation of the area is the well spacing. So we must surround the transistor by 6 lambda well spacing. That implies the 12 lambda between the opposite transistor flavors, and leave the room for one wire track. It is very clear in this figure. So by using these two important parameters, we can achieve the goal of our area calculation or area estimation. Here is the stick diagram of 3 input NAND gate, and we are going to find out the area of that particular 3 input NAND gate. How to find out the area? Let's start with the width. In the width side you can see that we have on vertical 4 wire tracks. For area estimation we just calculating the wire tracks in the horizontal direction and in the vertical direction. So in the horizontal you can see that we have 4 wiring track, and we multiply it with the 8. So it becomes 8 multiplied by 4 is 32 lambda is the width of 3 input NAND gate. Now we will move toward the vertical side and we calculate the horizontal wiring tracks. So in this case we have almost about the 5 horizontal wiring tracks, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5. These are the 5 wiring tracks in the horizontal direction. We just multiply it with the 8, so we will get the 40 lambda, and it's the height of your 3 input NAND gate. So the overall area estimation of the 3 input NAND gate is 40 multiplied by 32 lambda. For the better understanding of the stick diagram, I have shared a link of YouTube. So just go through this link and you will find a very helpful and a very basic function using the stick diagram. The next topic is about the CMOS transistor theory. For this, we just go through the basic function of your CMOS, which one is the NMOS and the PMOS. So far we have treated the transistor as an ideal switch, then we can suppose that in the on transistor state we passes a finite amount of the current. It all depends on the terminal voltage, and with the help of it we will derive the IV relationship. The very interesting thing is that the transistor, gate, source and drain all have the capacitance, and the capacitance and the currents will be helpful to determine the speed, and we can also explore what a degraded level really means. So these are the symbolic representation of your PMOS, NMOS and the PMOS. Now let's move toward the MOS capacitor. Before we going to exactly know what is the MOS capacitance, we get the very brief introduction related to the operating modes of our MOSFETs. So the operating mode of MOS is basically the accumulation, depletion and the inversion. How these three modes are going to be segregated, it all depends upon the applied voltage on the gate terminals. So before going to start with the information and the operation of these particular operating modes, we will move toward the basic CMOS structure, in which we have already know that on the top of the CMOS structure we have a metal and we represent it with the gate, and previously or in the past these are the strong metals, but now in the modern time it is in the form of the polysilicon. So after the gate terminal there is a very thin layer, and this thin layer is basically silicon dioxide, and in the silicon dioxide we have insulating film, or we call it gate oxide. The bottom ground and the bottom layer is basically a doped silicon. So this is the basic structure, and the structure is going to be into three modes: accumulation, depletion and inversion. This segregation is based on the applied voltage. If the negative voltage is applied on the gate side, it means Vg is less than 0, then there is a negative charge on the gate, and the mobile positively charged holes are attracted to the region beneath the gate. So this is called the accumulation region. Okay, when we apply a low positive charge to the gate resulting in some positive charge on the region, the holes in the body are repelled from the region directly beneath the gate and resulting a depletion mode. So in this case, when we applied a higher positive potential that exceeding a critical threshold voltage Vt, that is after applying this, attracting the more positive charges to the gate, the holes are repelled further and a small electrons in the p-type body is called the inversion layer. So on the basis of the voltage applied on the gate, we segregate the operation in three modes. Okay, these are the terminal voltage. Here is the symbol of your NMOS, in which we have the gate to source voltage, gate to drain voltage and drain to source voltage, and these voltages are calculated in the form of VGS, VGD and VDS. So there are three regions of operation for an NMOS, that is cutoff, linear and the saturation. These modes are divided with the again by applying the voltage across the gate. So if the gate to source voltage VGS is less than the threshold voltage, the source and the drain have free electrons. The body has free holes but no free electrons. The junction between the body and the source or the drain are reverse biased, so almost zero current is flowing in this region, and there is no channel is created, and the current flowing through IDS is almost equal to the 0. That's why we call this region as a cutoff region. Okay, when we apply the gate voltage that is greater than the threshold voltage, so what happens? Now the inversion region of the electrons create a channel, and we can say that the channel is connected, the source between the source and the drain, and creating a conductive path. The number of the carriers and the conductivity increases with the gate voltage. The potential difference between the drain and the source become VDS. Let's suppose if we consume that the VDS is 0, then there is no electric field tending to push the current from the drain to source. When a small positive potential VDS is applied, so what will happen? The drain current IDS flows through the channel from drain to source. This mode of operation is termed as the linear resistive non-saturated or unsaturated. The current increases with both the drain voltage and the gate voltage. And in the case of the saturation, if the VDS becomes sufficiently large, then what happens? The channel is no longer inverted near the drain and it becomes a pinched off. However, the conduction is still brought about by the drifting of the electrons under the influence of the positive drain voltage. As electrons reach to end of the channel, they are injected into the depletion region near the drain and accelerated toward the drain. Above this drain voltage, the current IDS is controlled only by the gate voltage and ceases to be influenced by the drain. This mode of operation is called the saturation. So the long channel IV characteristic is very important. As stated previously, the MOS transistors have three regions: cutoff or subthreshold region, linear or the non-saturation region, and the saturation region. So let us drive the first order ideal Shockley model relating the current and the voltage for NMOS transistor in each of these regions. Let's move toward firstly with the linear region. In the linear region, IDS depends upon how much charge in the channel and how fast is the charge moving. So IDS become Q channel divided by T, and the channel charge is become behaving like this. So with the body and the channel, there is a capacitance is existing that is represented as Cg, or here we can say that between the oxide layer, so it becomes a COX. So what happened? Most structure looks like parallel plate capacitor while operating in the inversion mode. So gate oxide dielectric channel, Q channel is Q is equal to CV, and here is the basic calculation to find out the voltage by simply substituting the values of the C in the Shockley equation. Okay, when we move toward the carrier velocity, we know that the charge is carried by the electrons, and the carrier velocity will be proportional to the lateral E field between the source and the drain. And here is the formula of M called mobility. Here is the formula of E, and the time for carrier to the cross channel is basically T is equal to L by V. By substituting this value, we can almost find out the IV of the linear region of NMOS, and here is the final equation of the linear mode of operation of NMOS. So the derivation is also very simple by substituting the values with each other. Now we will move toward the saturation region, and in the saturation we know that VGD is less than VT and the channel pinches off near the drain. So for this reason we can say that the VGS minus VT is equal to VDS greater than VD saturated. Now the drain voltage no longer increases the current, and this is the final equation of our NMOS saturation mode. So this is the basic summary of our Shockley first order transistor model that is valid for the long channel devices. In the cutoff, obviously the IDS is 0. In the linear region, the IDS become like this, and in the saturation region, the IDS become in this form. This is your lecture problem. for for the rest of the for the given content. So if you have any question, you can ask freely from me. Thank you for this today's session. Allah Hafiz.